Hello everyone and welcome back to MDG Media. Joining us here today for coverage of the 2025 World Championships, one of the biggest and most prestigious events in disc golf history. This is round 3, front 9 MPO chase card coverage. I'm Connor Wood and with me, Mr. Elias Luukkonen.
What's up, Connor? What's up, viewers? Nice to be here once again. Round 3 front 9. Usually this would be the final round of the tournament, but since this is the World Championship with 5 rounds, we still have a regular length Elite Series event to play. So these guys are in good position being in chase card, and honestly, a lot of players in the field, almost everybody in the field, if you offered them a chance to be chase card at this exact moment, they would take it.
Joining us here, Lenni Kemppainen, lefty thrower from Turku, Finland. Elias, what else do we know about him?
Just coming off from a C-tier victory with a 10.37 average, so feeling hot right now. Anthony Barela, furthest throwing player in the world, can definitely utilize that on this course. While it's mostly wooded, still very long.
Another player here with sneaky distance, both backhand and forehand, Mr. Adam Hammes. He already has secured himself a win just some weeks ago in this European stretch, looking to get another now on the bigger major stage.
And another lefty on the card. Interesting to have already 2 lefties. Austin Turner, player that used to take a bit of a break between his earlier touring years, now back to full-time disc golf. Great to see. Definitely a power thrower as well. We have everybody on the card throwing significant distance off the tee and on the fairway. As we're moving on, talking about fairways. Staying on the fairway, gonna be paramount on hole number 1, 237 meters. A very long par 4, playing a little bit shorter with the downhill of the tee. But you have pretty much OB left and right the entire way off the fairway. Off the drive, if you do want to play it safe, you can land a little bit there on the right side. Avoid the OB. But really anything in the middle, 120 meters down the fairway is going to be ideal. And anything in the middle, even shorter, is going to be acceptable.
Teeing off first, tied for 5th with a score of 16 under par. Representing Team Disking.eu and Finland, Lenni Kemppainen.
Representing Disking, aka Kiekko Kingi. Also the same sponsor that was sponsoring the distance throwing World Championship earlier in the week, which Rasmus Salkkoriipi won. Lenni with a bad late release on the first tee, but gets a great result. Looking like a lot of nerves on that first tee.
Next to tee, also tied for 5th with a score of 16 under par. Representing Team Discraft and the United States, Anthony Barela.
Anthony, a player with one of the highest ceilings in the sport, brimming with potential. We've seen him as he's aged and gained more experience, learn to compete with the top. Now a regular here at the biggest stage. Very high expectations on this man as a result of his nearly uncapped potential. To kick off his 3rd round. A low controlled shot will look to just land flat, and he does so nicely.
Next to tee, also tied for the 5th place with a score of 16 under par. Representing Team Discraft and the United States, Adam Hammes.
If you viewers have watched some old Spin TV coverage from the European Open, you might recognize the announcer's voice. That is, of course, Antti the Hat Guy. Very famous announcer. I'd say one of the more experienced announcers in the world. Has been doing this for around a decade, even more. As Adam, he's going for the sidearm, probably aiming towards that right side bailout zone. This one is turned and to the left. OB doesn't really creep in that early, but it's gonna be a tricky position.
In 8th place with a score of 14 under par, representing Team Discraft and the United States, Austin Turner.
All right, Austin Turner, 5 down here on day 2 of the World Championships in Finland. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's been a long day. A lot of rain delays, lightning delays, so keeping the mind clear of just anything that could go wrong today was key, and I did that. Hit a lot of fairways, started off really good, 3 down through 4, and which helped me coast. Got a couple of bogeys in there, but clean them up with some good birdies down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely a different beast here, or a monster, they say. What would you say are the differences between the 2 courses?
I mean, one is clearly the woods. You have to hit your lines out here. If not, you're going to be getting double bogeys, triple bogeys. You know, you're getting the worst kicks possible in these woods. This place humbles you a lot, and you cannot take any shot for granted out here. The beast is pretty similar in terms of don't take anything for granted, just because there's a lot of OB and a lot of wrong that can happen. But same thing, just trust in your shots and just try to place them in the middle and score when you can.
Yeah, so you're going to be on the chase card, MDG coverage tomorrow. What can we expect to see from you?
Hopefully a lot of good, hopefully a lot of magic, and trying to do well for the lefties out there.
How about your travels at all? Like, how's Finland going?
It's been good. My shoes got stolen out of the car. Other than that, it hasn't been bad.
Where at? Where that?
In the parking lot of the Monster.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is
Dang.
what it is.
But you got a backup pair?
Yeah. Well, I got my disc golf shoes. That's all I got. So.
You can play barefoot if you have to.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Good luck. Have fun out there.
Thank you.
All the best.
An interesting predicament he finds himself in. A single pair of shoes for a 5-round tournament. Representing the lefties out there, gets the hyzer release, flips up to flat, even gets the counter skip. Now this is near where the OB widens out, but claps from the gallery would suggest a positive outcome for him.
Yeah, interesting to see if that shoe situation affects his play today, as Austin Turner does seem like the kind of guy that would be into some more expensive sneakers. As Lenni, definitely a good kick there. He was fading towards the right side OB, but gets a good kick. And from here, it's really all about getting a lot of distance, but balancing that distance with some accuracy to not find the edge of the fairway. Both Adam and Lenni are going to be struggling to get up and down from there.
Austin prayed for no kicks. Unfortunately, they interpreted that as his shoes. Anthony, a nice looking shot into the green, shut down by that skinny birch. That small tree going such a long way in blocking Anthony's entrance will leave him with a much longer putt. Austin's third also gets him within striking distance, but still looking at the uphill mounded green, I believe circle 2.
Adam, tight forehand hyzer flip, skipping all the way to the green. Very well done there. Find those shots to be pretty difficult when you have to go with that inside out forehand. Really try to keep it close to the body. Don't let it out to the right. Yeah, Lenni definitely in a much better position than what I thought. And the disc that he's throwing is actually a newer version of a very beat-in approach disc that he lost just 2 weeks ago in Estonia. Had been throwing that disc for about 7 years already, so a big loss, and has to adjust for that newer mold.
AB just high from distance. We see some light gusts here, but the flag still in this moment. And Adam with a shorter putt even. Does not connect Lenni. We saw that late stability of that new disc kick in. He faded out a touch, but good for the comeback putt. We see these 3 players at the top tied for 16 under until Adam makes that putt, falling to 15. AB secures as well the par.
Pretty typical stuff on the most difficult hole of the day, averaging more than half a stroke above par on average. And that's not going to be the case on hole number 2. While a difficult hole to park, definitely one where you expect to be inside of circle 2 at the very least. It suits the right-hand backhand hyzer shot very well, especially into a slight headwind that we have today. So you're trying to throw something extremely high and try to keep it tight to the left side corner. If you push it out to the wide, the backside OB comes into play fast. You can't really finish all the way left to the green. For these lefties, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Lenni lining up the forehand, but I could definitely see a lefty turnover getting all the way to the basket.
Gets a lot of height and a steep angle. Looks to have stalled out rather than continued on a pure hyzer. That will often fall straight down instead of leftwards. And I would say Elias, while that OB long and right can come into play, the early short left has a much lower chance of the par than something a little bit too wide.
AB, perfect line there. Can't really put it much closer than that. You could see he actually didn't keep it too close to the left side, but with that headwind that we have, the discs are getting pushed less far down the fairway and further to the left. So if you throw it high enough, you're definitely not going OB long. Same thing with Adam there. C2 look as usual on this hole.
Austin also giving the lefty forehand a good bid, as the height looks to be just before the second tier of this green. This design really forcing players to be intentional about the height they come into the green with. And Lenni with a good patent pending out will leave him still. A longer circle 1 putt, maybe even just outside. Austin up first to bounce back from the bogey.
Yeah, not gonna be good. And Adam here, very common putt on this hole. Hitting our cameraman, I believe, in the shin. Let's hope Victor is okay there.
No birdies to be found until Barela, the fourth one to walk up to the green, does find it. And that one, Elias, would you say that this is considered a bonus birdie? It's easy to get into circle 2, difficult to get into circle 1. How would the statistics frame this hole?
I think bonus is a big word. We still have 25% of the field getting a birdie on this one, so it's definitely on the easier side. Really not so many bogeys to be found. And I'd say if you have made your way to the chase card, you're expecting to get a birdie, which 25% of the field is getting.
We proceed to hole 3, par 3, 118 meters. This requires a very specific line and shot. You have this initial tunnel first going straight and then bending ever so softly over to the right, and it continues to bend to the right. The basket additionally tucked away back there, shaping most naturally for a late flipping understable backhand for the right-handed player. For the lefties, a forehand turnover, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some lefty backhands here considering the left to right shape. But this is a very specific tunnel that narrows leading to the green, so the later in the flight it is, the smaller the gap gets that you need to hit. AB a touch too straight. Does not keep that moving to the right the entire way, but does have very nice progress.
Adam, one of the only players that I actually like to see the forehand from on this hole. I feel like his shape really suits this one, and the shape was perfect there, just a bit short. No matter how far your forehand is flying, it's really tricky to get all the way there with that pure hyzer pushing forward all the way.
Austin as well, the lefty backhand playing similarly to the righty forehand. You see that one angle shot even looking great. It's just so hard to get it far enough right, hence why it plays most effectively for a righty turnover when you can get the second angle into play. Lenni fires too straight, but all of our players will have some sort of look now on the green of 3. Lenni up first.
No stress there. These players know that this is by far the most difficult course played in this tournament out of the two. But still, can definitely be scored on. We saw 14 under in round 2 by Ezra Aderhold. So that's the maximum pace that these guys are expecting with almost a perfect round.
Austin gives the stepper, but the release and the timing looking a little bit disconnected there. It was very low. Not what you would like to see from a step putt, which is normally to ensure your trajectory and power is there. He had neither, but good for the comebacker. And just like that, the par frame is collected here on 3. Four threes on par 3, hole 3, 2025 Worlds round 3.
Hey guys, quick break. We just dropped our brand new 2025 MDG Media Tour clothing collection, which is now available on our online shop. You will find fresh apparel and a full lineup of discs. If you like what we do, if you want to support the project, this is the best way. See you on the website and enjoy the video.
Thank you, Maxime. And now moving on to hole number 4. Longest one so far, 262 meters. Playing as a par 4, want to throw something straight towards the backside trees on that right side of the tee and hopefully fade just in front of them to set yourself up in the middle of the fairway, lined with the gap on the second shot. Gap is very wide, but if you flare out too far left of the tee, you might have to go over the trees or just forced to throw a very tight shot through that gap. The approach is playing really nicely for a high forehand or a high turnover if you're not much of a forehand player. Of course, we have 2 lefties on the card. Gonna be interesting to see what they do off the tee. The approach is a simple hyzer, but the tee shot might be tricky for the lefties.
Anthony looking very high, ensuring that he gets the leftwards movement. This has a lot of speed out of the hand for what looks like a very smooth release. That is crushed on hyzer. He is way up there in a great spot to try and access the green. Even with that mostly one angle shot. Adam, lower, slightly more traditional, but a wide release. He'll need to find the fade quickly, or rather a kick off the trees. That'll work as well.
Well, I'm honestly mind blown with how far Barela's drive went there. I mean, I haven't seen one that far yet. Not in this tournament, not really in any tournament before. And Austin there. That's the one mistake that you really can't do on this hole. I mean, Adam did the same mistake, got away with it, but that right side it's the only place where your drive can realistically land on this fairway, where you have no shot to the green.
And Lenny smokes that up there near AB in distance, but on the left side rough will not have the open swing that Barela found. We go first to Turner. Fortunate result here, honestly. Could have been much worse for him. He's able to play the spike hyzer and position for the par now. Brings that one in nicely. Good control of the width there, throwing it quite high up. I believe we proceed to Adam.
Now this is a long forehand. You can see the red 100-meter stake, so he's 130 meters away. A lot of power required and not quite enough coming out of his arm.
But he does have a look from out of position. Not an easy one. Barela through an amazing drive. Now left with this look here. Out on the left, he has to flex the forehand to hit the gap purely. The late stability kicks in, and the man hits the pin on his second. You will not see 2 better shots here on hole 4 by, I think, anyone, Elias.
Yeah, I mean, the filter is... It's a pretty tight filter already. Almost nobody can even get that far off the tee. And then on top of that, having that forehand touch. Lenni actually surprisingly well approaching the green. From the position he was in, I thought he would have nothing, but inside of circle 2. Austin, easy par. Definitely a hole where you don't want to take anything more than a par, with 85% of the field getting a par or better.
We see Adam just before the chips gives it the stepper into the band. And now, just a touch closer, Lenni. Both of them unable to connect from just outside the circle's edge.
Yeah, Lenni has this pretty severe hyzer angle on his putt, which honestly quite unorthodox, but when he's on, anything from inside of 12, 13 meters, he looks so automatic.
Once again, only AB picking up the birdie here for the chase card. Forges ahead, currently sitting at 18 under. Solid start here on the back nine, where players are just looking to survive. Hole 5, par 4, 234 meters. This has an elevated tee and a gap to hit that then brings you very quickly to a tight corner right here. This tree line is what players would like to beat, ideally around on the left as the fairway then wraps around even 90 degrees back to the right and brings them up to one of the most well-guarded greens in all of disc golf. A series of trees lining not only the entrance but in the bullseye of this green. This basket incredibly well blocked from even amazing shots, and very controversial green. Elias, how do you feel about it?
I feel quite okay with this one, honestly. I mean, I feel like the gaps between the trees are wide enough where you really have a look from most angles where your approach should end up. If you throw a terrible one out there to the right, you might not have anything. But I like the design that you are forced to put the disc on a certain side of the green and not just boom it out there. As AB, he was in the short corner. From there, it's usually an easy pitch out to the fairway and a chance at par. But that's really the mistake here that takes the birdie out completely.
And we see this similar mistake for Adam. He gets closer to filtering through, but that is a very common result for the forehand, given how easy it is to go OB too long straight with something overly flippy. Austin here with the lefty line makes the fairway look absolutely enormous, beats the corner and moves around it. That is exactly the type of shot you would like to see. We'll see if Lenni can recreate that. Potentially a lefty hole for us here today. This one's much higher and more exposed to the wind. We saw it get beat up and I think even catch some leaves along the way, Elias. That looked very slow in the end compared to the speed it came out of the hand with.
Yeah, really weird shot. I mean, either he must have hit some leaves, as you said, or maybe it was just a slow disc, which I don't really see why you would throw a slow disc off the tee, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it hit some branches. And look at this play. AB finding a gap. That's actually a gap that some players were thinking about going through off the tee, potentially with a right-hand backhand turnover.
I don't hate it. The gaps there are pretty playable, but of course then you're bringing in an element of luck that you can avoid playing the traditional around the corner shot. This is boomed by Lenni. Goes off the tent on the tee of 6. That was nowhere near the green had the flight been completed. The rollback not changing the outcome of where he will play. Austin crashing high, crashing wide, and that is quite a nice entrance. We see him get past, I think, the majority of the trees there.
Yeah, lovely played hole by Austin so far, showing how you can make easy work of this one if you have that lefty straight shot, lefty hyzer combo. Definitely a pretty well balanced course. I feel like you have both bends in spares. A lot of straight shots as well. As Adam nicely places it on slightly to the left side. You rather miss a little bit to the left than a little bit to the right, as the right side is a bit thicker. Really the best side on this green would be short or slightly short left.
AB looking to access as well. A similar spot to Austin. Gets a little bit deeper into the trees. We go to Lenni here. He's going to have to craft something super accurate to beat the trees, and that's right there the frame that he's left with from deep circle 2. Off the knee, Adam, good for the par save. That pitch out effective, not costing him any additional strokes.
Even these short putts can be tricky on this hole. You can see multiple trees inside of the bullseye on this hole. As Lenni tapping in for the double bogey. Already +4. Lenni did come from the C pool, so the bottom 100 players in rounds 1 and round 2 as far as rating. He was the best out of that C pool and playing a very respectable second round at the Beast, shooting 10 under as we're moving on to 6. 97 meter, very iconic green here. Probably the scariest green on this course. A lot of players are actually looking to either spike it into the hill with that lefty backhand hyzer, or just throw a straight shot, land ideally at the bottom of the hill and not take a chance at a rollaway. If you hit the hill on at all the right side of the basket, you're almost always rolling.
You see Austin there come to the short side. We'll have the uphill look. AB has the slow disc in his hand. He's looking to control the flight, get the soft landing. That low speed disc reducing the chance of a huge skip or roll, but he does not like this shot, even though it's completely reasonable, and in fact a very common result for even a good shot to settle just at the base of the hill.
Gonna be an interesting putt as he's on the very steepest edge of the hill. So he's gonna be putting probably as far upwards as forwards from there. Adam, aggressive forehand. And slightly too aggressive there. I'm sure he was aiming to land a little bit left of the basket. I'd say this is probably the most consistent shot on this hole. Just going barely over the left side trees. Try to stick it in the hill.
And we see exactly that. Near the staircase is the softest slope into the green. Will reduce again those percentages of a skip or roll. We go first to Adam. Looking right up the hill off the forehand. Skip and just pures it. And you'll see it's so steep he'll likely even go around to the staircase instead of a direct line. Great birdie secured, sets the tone for the other three now to not get big putted.
Yeah, Adam making no sin there, as the biggest sin on this hole will be missing this putt. If you miss it from this angle, you have at least a 50% chance of a rollaway, and usually that rollaway takes you very far away. This needs to slow down, and no foreshadowing. It's just so common on this hole. If you miss a putt, you're almost never sticking on the hillside, and that's going to be a frustrating bogey, being well inside the circle on that right side of the tee.
Even a layup, which looks ideal, you match the grade of the slope. Lenni over the top, a complete air ball. Now with a much longer putt after what was the best tee shot. Or one of, at least. He's now having a longer putt than he just had, about double the distance, but makes that one a crazy miss into make. 4 over for the round so far. Lenni struggles as he falls back a bit now relative to the pace and scores of his card mates. You can see how quickly the monster is able to chip away at all of those birdies that you've worked hard to accumulate.
This is not the course where you're going to feel bad for taking a par, but it's definitely a course where you feel bad for taking a bogey. The field is so talented, everybody's playing very tight. Each bogey gets you a little bit further away from the lead. You really have to keep your scorecard clean out here.
We are here. We are one. We will fight. We will fall. We will prevail. From the fjords of Norway to the shores of Spain, from the fire of Iceland to the hope of Ukraine. 30 countries, one voice. Go Europe.
Our players will now proceed to hole 7. this par 4 sits at 225 meters. They have, as commonly found, a fairly tight but manageable gap off the tee. OB lining the right side the entire way. Players are going to want to throw a long hyzer shape to position themselves with a straight look into the second leg of this fairway. OB lining the left and right the entire way, as well as long on this green. You see this dangerous, murky pond looming. The basket just a bullseye away from the closest point with water. OB everywhere else. This hole, ideally, you get a straight to left finishing shot and then try your luck on a very tight, very treacherous green.
The wind is pushing right to left today, so that left side OB actually does come into play pretty quickly. The players might have noticed this already from Austin's shot, but they have to put it a little bit wider over those right side trees. Or, like Adam is doing, go low here. And don't really take that left side OB into play. I really like that play, going with a slower disc, lower, taking away the risk of a skip.
He was flying right over the OB line of the right tree line, but I agree, Elias, that's a great way to manage the wind. We see from Lenni a similar looking forehand, and also well safe of that left OB. And there is obviously a bend and soft corner to the right where the fairway bends, but the more left you are, it opens up the angle, but makes the hyzer into the green for the right-handed player a little bit tighter. So there is like a very specific midpoint that gives you the easiest shot into the green in terms of a straight to open look. Anthony pushes that left side OB as well. From there, they will both have long straight to left ending looks. This is Adam not quite beating the corner, effectively having forced to play for par now.
Trying to get short of the pond. Very good shot there. The layup can be a little bit deceiving with the distance. You can't really tell how far the pond's first edge is going to be. And now this is a big shot. He needs to get it inbounds. Very tight strip of land. This one looks wide. Needs to get over the pond in order to have any chance to be safe.
And he flipped it up, Elias. That is the gravest mistake to make there. Similarly for Anthony, he needs to ensure this moves left. We see a lot of height, a lot of hyzer. There's of course OB for too far left, but you don't lose your disc. And he finds that very danger. This green at its widest is probably only circle 1. At its narrowest, probably about 6 to 7 meters. Can be extremely punishing. We go to Lenni. What a move on this disc. Elias trusts it out over the water.
That's beautiful, beautiful shot. And so difficult with the standstill flex forehand. Doesn't have the advantage of going for the spike hyzer. And all of a sudden, look at this. Adam's par play actually looking pretty good on this hole.
And completely stress-free there. Never taking any shot. The mental toll throughout 5 rounds is far more noticeable. The resilience and stamina needed to have a high level of focus throughout so many holes. When you can reduce stress, it's a good idea. AB, though, a very stressful putt looking at the water or at least near it.
That's going to be a stressful miss as well. Had a chance to save that par. Instead going for the bogey. And Lenni opening the floodgates, hopefully for as far as the birdies come. That's going to be his first of the day on this hole number 7. That was actually the 3rd hardest hole on the course. Beautiful spread on this hole. 32% birdies, 34% pars, and 34% something worse. Highest number being a 7, scored by yours truly.
Uh-oh. We moved to hole 8. Elias, how did you play hole 8 at least?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that much, but I'm going to tell you how you should play this hole. You should throw something extremely straight, ideally a hard thrown mid-range, a very hard thrown mid-range, or a medium hard thrown fairway driver. A lot of players are trying to hit the slight hyzer angle out of the hand and flip it up to keep it all the way straight to the basket. There is some room to fade about after 100 meters, but ideally you want to see your disc fly straight, hit the ground, skip straight, and settle inside of the bullseye.
Lenni has that one smoked straight, gets long through the gap. We'll have a early circle to look at the basket. It's a nice line to not hit any trees on this hole, is often considered a good successful shot. We go to Adam for the forehand. I think for all of these guys, we're going to see a hyzer release, getting it up to flat. That one turned very quickly, though, needing to control, of course, the hyzer angle, the nose angle, the power, and choosing the right disc to fit all of those variables. Just a clean 118 meters, dead straight.
Dead straight into the second tree on the left side there. Couple of pretty surprising errors on this hole. I mean, the gap is very fair. It's not a wide fairway, but it's wide enough where you expect the top level player to hit it most of the times. And that's going to be 3 out of 4 guys struggling with the fairway here. And all of a sudden, Lenni, while having a really difficult start, taking some control over his card mates on these last 2 holes. Really weird release there. I think he cut rolled to the left. I'm sure he wasn't going for the forehand roller, and there you go, Adam as well.
So bad it's crazy. It's routine.
It's pretty good commentary actually by him.
Nothing more needs to be said. We go to Austin from the left side. So simple, it's routine.
Man of simple routines here. Trying to possibly throw it in here on the next shot. Going a bit long. That's going to be a putt for bogey that you're not going to want to miss. And as you said on the last hole, that extra bit of stress during the 5 rounds of the World Championship, it really builds up. We're not even halfway through the tournament. Exactly 1 hole short of that, actually.
AB finding some trouble now, had a solid start for Lenni. The birdie putt trickles away from him. However, a par will be enough to get strokes on at least some of his card mates, if not all of them. Austin, Turner, an air ball from circle 1. We go to Adam now. We'll see if that frustration is translated into a putt. It is ultimately just the bogey for him.
Over par on the scorecard, that's no reason for panic. A lot of holes to be played. Especially in the back 9, you're pretty much looking to birdie every hole on the back. And I'd say the back 9 is more scoreable, especially when you get into the rhythm. No nerves anymore. Not that much of a big gallery as on some of the more open first holes. Just hit your lines and get up there for a birdie. That's going to be the case on this hole for very few players, as hole number 9 is potentially the hardest hole to get inside the circle on this course. 132 meters, plays as a huge turnover. A lot of players would like to throw this exact shape with a mid-range, but you pretty much have to throw a fairway driver or even a 10 speed to get all the way to the basket with this distance. Want to throw something super high, understable, keep it turning all the way, and even a little bit extra, you're still going to be probably left-sided or short of the basket.
It's interesting to see 2 lefties having success getting themselves onto chase card by round 3, because there's a lot of shots which many people would agree shape ideally for the right-handed backhand turnover. For the lefties, what is a hyzer? And we see, unfortunately for Lenni, far too much forwards push. And that's the danger, Elias, of throwing the higher speed disc, is that the back tree line comes into play so quickly. You need to turn quickly and aggressively over to the right while giving it enough height that it can move right for a long time, which we see exactly from AB here. If he has the speed and angle correct, we will find out. And even that, similarly to Lenni's, is just too straight too quickly. You need to move right very soon and for the complete flight to access the green.
Just to give you guys a perspective, you could see that that disc was still moving right. I mean, it was moving right a lot. And same thing for this one. But it's still too late. you have to be so early with the turn and hold the turn all the way. And I'm gonna say it, with the lefty hyzer, you can't get to the basket. You can get to maybe 20 meters away at the very best, but no closer than that. And Austin gonna be long, everybody pushing that backside.
Adam in a very reasonable spot here. A stock forehand hyzer for his upshot. That is something that he can do. Bread and butter sort of shot for him. Tasty as a pesto burger. We go to Lenni.
There you go. Couple of shots right next to each other. Hope you can't hear our mouths watering at that reference. If you guys have never tasted a pesto burger, you should definitely try it in case. An AB here. Let's see a good bid. 30 meters out. He can run it with no fear. The wood chips usually slow your disc down after a long bid.
There we go. Austin is able to correct on the green. A very nice clean putt there to secure his par. AB up next. I like that AB often, I notice on the putting greens, takes the exact same amount of time for a 5-meter putt as he does for, I feel like, a 12 to 14-meter putt and everything in between. I appreciate that and works well for him in this moment as we tap in the par frame here on 9.
Yeah, that's gonna be good for the front 9. And our card wasn't doing particularly great, but the thing is, they could still, any of them might still shoot a 4, 3, 5 under even on the back, as there are so many birdie holes left. And good to see my countrymate Lenni, of course, getting it kind of back together after that really rough start.
Absolutely true. The front 9 is where you survive. The back 9 is where you thrive. We are here in the commentary booth where we do something else. We try to bring you this action earnestly and appreciating all of the athletes, viewers, contributors, organizers, up to 300 this weekend, Elias, just in organizational elements. We appreciate everyone involved in making this tournament happen. That is the halfway point. Join us for the back 9 to close out round 3.